Very good day to you all. The topic that I'm going to deal with today is screening of healthcare workers and patients for multi-drug resistant organisms. I'm going to tell you the broad guidelines for screening when there is an outbreak of infections with multi-drug resistant organisms. Now, by definition, multi-drug resistant organisms are predominantly bacteria. And these are resistant to one or more classes of antimicrobial agents. Now, why do we have to worry about multi-drug resistant organisms? Because we have very limited therapeutic options for them, and they contribute to the increased length of stay for the patients and the admissions into ICU, not to speak of the increased mortality rates that are associated with infections with multi-drug resistant organisms. Now, when we talk of these organisms, there are two things. One is infection, the other one is colonization. Now, we say an infection when a person is culture positive and he does display signs and symptoms of the infection. When we say colonization, a person is culture positive but he has no signs or symptoms of infection. So, these two things are very, very dissimilar. Now, as far as MDROs are concerned, we need to know the epidemiology of MDROs. Now, the reservoirs for MDROs are either the infected patients or the colonized patients. Similarly, it is the colonized healthcare workers, right? So, we have the infected and the colonized patients and the colonized healthcare workers. In addition to that, one of the important reservoirs for MDROs are the contaminated environmental surfaces and equipment. The risk factors for acquisitions for MDRO is similar to other, MDROs like, colonization which precedes the infection, elderly age group, the long hospital stay, repeated admissions, invasive procedures, underlying diseases, comorbid conditions, multiple antimicrobial exposure, all these are considered as risk factors for acquisition of infection with MDROs. Now, the important thing is that when there is a suboptimal disinfection or cleaning, that leads to reservoir of infection in any healthcare facility. Now, if you look at the transmission of the MDROs, the transmission is mainly from person to person through the hands of the healthcare workers. That's one way of transmission. The second way of transmission is contact with the contaminated environmental surfaces. So, from the environment to a person or from a person to person. Now, this transmission depends on several factors. One is the availability of vulnerable patients. Now, in a hospital, definitely there are going to be vulnerable patients. Number two is the antimicrobial pressure. The more antimicrobial agents you use, the more is going to be the incidence of infection with MDROs. That we do not have much, being in tertiary care centers, we do not have much, choice. We do use a lot of antimicrobials. The third reason is the colonization pressure. The intensity of colonization in the patients or in the healthcare workers. And the fourth one is the adherence to infection control measures. Last but not the least is the frequent movement among the healthcare facilities of the patients. Now, among all these factors, we can have some control over colonization and we can have some control over, a lot of control in fact, over adherence to infection control measures. Now, if you look at the prevention strategies for the multi-drug resistant organisms, we have the core measures and then we have the supplemental measures. The core measures, of course, everyone is knowledgeable about that. It's the administrative support, the way you do your surveillance, the way you place your patients, cohort your patients, adherence to infection control procedures and policies, how you clean your devices, use your devices, all those things, education, all these are the core measures. If you look at the supplemental measures, it is preemptive isolation of the patient, right? You screen a patient, you isolate the patient and you decolonize the patient before you take on the patient for any procedure. That could be a supplemental measure. And of course, for all patients, universally you can have chlorhexidine bathing before the operative procedure. That is a preemptive measure. And the active surveillance culture, that is what we are going to talk about today. That is a screening procedure that you do on these patients who have a risk of acquiring infections with MDRO. That is considered as a supplemental measure. Now, if you look at the screening method for these multi-drug resistant organisms, we all know that any screening method should have a reasonable sensitivity, a reasonable specificity, and of course, the cost should not be too high, a reasonable turnaround time. You can't do a test today and get a report after 1 week. That's not going to help at all. And of course, the laboratory support and the kind of expertise must be there to tell you what MDROs are being carried by the patient. Now, if you look at the important MDROs, I would say escape pathogens are important. E stands for Enterococcus faecium, and here we are worried about vancomycin resistant enterococci. Then we have the Staphylococcus aureus, which is the methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Then we have the C, which is Clostridium difficile. And then we have the A, Acinetobaumanni. P is Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which are important hospital pathogens. And then, of course, now the emerging Enterobacteriaceae, which includes the E. coli, Klebsiella, and all those other organisms, which are carbapenem resistant. That means imipenem and meropenem resistant Enterobacteriaceae. We call them CRKP, carbapenem resistant Klebsiella pneumoniae or carbapenem resistant Enterobacteriaceae. Now, these are normally considered as MDROs for whom we can consider screening, active surveillance screening. I'll first go on to MRSA. Now, MRSA denotes methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Though methicillin is not used in clinical practice, it is oxacillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Now, when Staphylococcus aureus is methicillin resistant, it cannot be treated with any beta-lactam antibiotic or any beta-lactam antibiotic with a beta-lactam inhibitor. So, that is the definition of methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Now, for MRSA, the bottom line is that colonization always precedes infection. Always there is a period of colonization before infection. It just doesn't jump into your body and cause an infection. Now, the risk of developing an MRSA infection among the people who are colonized is about 29% in 18 months. That means almost 1/3 of the people who are colonized with MRSA will develop some sort of infection, mild or severe infection, in about 1.5 years with a colonized MRSA. Now, what is the rationale for MRSA screening? Now, if you actively screen for MRSA, you prevent transmission from a colonized to an uncolonized individual, right? And you also prevent infection in an already colonized individual. So, you prevent the transmission and you prevent infection in a already colonized patient. So, that explains the rationale for MRSA screening. Now, if you look at the percentage of patients who carry MRSA on admissions at the site of colonization, this was a study which was done some time back. Patients who come for admission into a hospital, at least about 13 to 25% of the people are already colonized in their axilla, 40% are colonized on their hands, and about 40% are colonized on their groin. So, we have MRSA which is called a community acquired MRSA, and then we have a hospital acquired MRSA. Now, in the community, MRSA is equally rampant. So, when they come for admission, you can have patients already being colonized with MRSA.